Hey, welcome. Good afternoon, Black and Married with Kids. How are you all doing today? When you come in the room today, please let me know which city, state, and country you are watching this from. Please let me know. I am Marshauno, your favorite life and relationship strategist, and I help women that are married or in long-term relationships to stop feeling disconnected and unloved and shift you to feeling heard, understood, and appreciated. Now, I see some of you all coming in the room, so thank you so much for coming in the room. Again, once you come in here, please allow me to know which city, state, and country you are watching this from. And also just thank you for coming in to spend a few moments of your day with me here today. Flint, Michigan. Jamil says, Flint, Michigan. Ruth, I see you coming in here. Let's see here. Teresa and Anthony and Chandre, I think I said that right. So everybody come on in here. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today. Anne Marie, hello to you as well. Okay, we're going to talk about the 5 ways to protect your relationship and or your marriage. Now, again, for those who are just showing up, I'm Marshauno Lanio, but I also want to come here and thank Lamar and Ronnie Tyler for allowing me to come and speak to you guys today at Black and Married with Kids. All right, Anne Marie, St. Petersburg, Florida. Thank you. All right, Philippines, Zimbabwe. All right, welcome Zimbabwe in the house. All right. Thank you so much for taking a few moments out of your time to come spend it with your girl and hang out with me. And if you guys have any questions, definitely go ahead and put them down in the comment section below. I'll try to answer as many as I can while I'm on here right now. These 30 minutes go pretty quickly, so I'm gonna go ahead and jump into tip number 1. The first way to protect your relationship and or your marriage is to literally guard your eyes and your ears. Welcome, Joyce from Philly. Welcome. Guard your eyes and your ears. Now, what does that actually mean? Listen, a lot of people do not realize what we're taking in, what we're listening to, what we're watching constantly, day in, day out, day in, day out. The people that you're hanging around, the stuff that they're saying to you, about you, all of that stuff affects the way that you are showing up day in and day out, including in your relationship. The things that you think about your spouse are a reflection of some of the things that you hear on a daily basis. So now if you're a person that's listening to a lot of the negativity that could be said about being in a relationship or being in a marriage, then guess what? You're going to start to think that your relationship is negative in some type of way. If you're around people that are talking positive about their marriage, positive about the relationship, and them focusing on the things that their spouse is doing good, is doing great, and actually saying these things, speaking life into the relationship, that is something that you're going to start doing as well. Now, this actually goes deeper than what most people think. The things that you watch on TV day in, day out affect the way that you show up specifically in your relationship, in all your relationships. But you guys know I talk about romantic relationships here. So the way that you're showing up, the things that you're watching, including the news, all of your romantic comedies or the types of shows, the types of things that you look at, that you take in all the time, affects the way that you think and feel about your spouse. The things that you listen to, the type of music that you're listening to, whether it's motivational or not. Like, I listen to a lot of motivational things because that is the stuff that I want to penetrate in my head. I listen to a lot of positivity, the people that I know that speak life about their spouse, that speak life about life in general. Those are the things that I'm constantly taking in. So whenever I go home and I'm looking at my spouse, and maybe we didn't have a good time this morning before I left home. Well, I'm not going to go in the house because I've been putting all of this positivity in me all day long. I've been soaking up all of this good stuff that everybody else is saying and about how they're trying to change around their life and just be a positive image in front of their spouse. And even when their spouse is not around. So all of the things that you are taking in, all of the things that you are soaking up absolutely affects the way that you're looking at your partner and also the way that you are showing up, as well as looking at your spouse as well. So the very first way to protect your relationship is literally start paying attention to the things that you are watching and the things that you are listening to and hearing. And if they do not serve the way that you want to show up, then guess what you need to do? You need to start changing the channel or changing the radio or even your CD or whatever it is that you're listening to, changing that stuff that you're letting penetrate and literally be inside your head. In between these two things, all of this stuff that's up in here all the time, you really have to be intentional and make conscious decisions about the things that you are listening to, as well as the things that you are watching. So that is point number one. The second way to protect your relationship or your marriage is to be one another's safe space. This is you and your partner, you and your spouse. So instead of thinking about or listening to all of the bad stuff that you're going to hear about being in a relationship, and especially a marriage, everybody has a lot of negative things to say. And please put down in the comment section below if this is true or not. Put a number one, which is, so many people have more negativity or negative things to say to you about your relationship, about your marriage, than they do positive, than they do with feeding and speaking life into your relationship, and even giving you some words of wisdom that you can take and say, you know what, my relationship isn't that bad, or it is actually better than I think it is, because it's the reason why I feel that it's bad or worse than it really is because of the things that I'm watching, the things that I'm taking in, and also my perspective. Am I always negative Nancy? Or am I positive Patty? Negative Nancy or positive Patty? Which one? Like literally, who are you? Which one are you in your relationship? Are you always negative? Or are you seemingly, the majority of the time, the positive person? But you really have to pay attention to the things that you're saying and creating a safe space. This goes into, if I was to come to you and I was to tell you one of my dreams, are you going to speak life into me and say, you know what, Marshauno, you totally can do that? Juliet from Louisiana, I see you. Thank you for watching. Are you speaking life? Am I actually going to come in and be like, wow, man, my man really loves me and supports me in every endeavor, whether he agrees with it or not? Or are you the person that's always like, nah, you can't do that. Like, that's stupid. That's silly. Why would you even think that you can do that? You don't have the degree to do that. Like, when did you decide that you wanted to be this positive person, speaking to all of these people, speaking life into these people, when you can't even do it with me? You can't even do it with yourself. So why do you think, or how do you think that you have the gall to go and speak and do those things with other people? You can't do it. So here's the thing. You have to be able to show up in a way where your spouse feels comfortable enough to come to you and speak to you about any and everything. And this also includes the things that you do not want to hear. This includes all of the things that make you nervous or make you, put you on the edge of your seat, or just make you uncomfortable. This is what being in a healthy relationship and healthy marriage is all about. It's not about you, it's about the collective, it's about the we. And so if I can actually speak life into you, and you can come to me and ask me about anything, and you can show me your vulnerability, then I should be able to do the exact same thing. Because you're showing up and showing me how special I am to you, in order for you to literally allow the wall, or concrete wall, brick wall around your heart to come down to me. And that makes me feel special. That makes me feel warm. That makes me feel like I am in a safe space with you. And your partner should also feel like they are in a safe space with you as well. So I see a lot of you coming in the room. Oki, Karima, welcome. Gloria, Cynthia, Cindy, and Bill, and Marquay, Jessica. Thank you all for taking a few moments out of your day. I just want to reset the room. My name is Marshauno. I am your favorite life and relationship strategist, and I help Christian women that are married or in long-term relationships to stop feeling disconnected and unloved, and shift you to her feeling heard, understood, and appreciated. So, and I also want to thank Lamar and Ronnie Tyler for allowing me to come here today and just share some love with you guys here today. Now, here's the thing that I'm asking you to do. If you know somebody needs to hear this information, then go ahead and share this video for me. All right. I would truly, truly appreciate it. Delante, I see you coming in here. Thank you so much for spending a few moments out of your time. Now, we're talking about the 5 ways to protect your relationship and or your marriage. And now we are on point number 3, which is respecting one another's views. Here's the thing. You're not always going to agree on every single thing that you and your spouse talk about, because you guys are 2 different people. usually coming from two different worlds, two different backgrounds, two different environments, trying to come together to build and become one. But that does not mean that you guys are actually going to agree on everything. You have to be able to be respectful of the other person's wishes in every manner, in every manner. Okay, so Juliet says they're both positive. I just had this conversation with another couple. Thanks for the confirmation. You are very welcome. See, these are the conversations that we need to continue to have over and over and over and over again in order for us to literally get it. And then also be able to share this wisdom, be able to share your knowledge with your friends, with your families, because it's not about just you and your spouse. It's not about just you, your spouse, and your children. It's about the community. It's about building up a beautiful community in order to, let everybody else around us, around the world, to see that we want to be and have beautiful relationships just like everybody else. And we actually can do it. And it starts within ourselves. It starts within our homes. And so we have to be able to show up, have conversations, be able to respect our partners, making things a safe space. And then going back to point number 3, making sure that we respect one another's wishes, whatever those wishes are, and not bashing your partner, not bashing your spouse for some of his or her thoughts that are not your own. Because here's the thing, I'm a believer. God gave those thoughts to either yourself or your partner. So you guys are not going to agree on everything. You're not going to think the same about everything, and your wishes are not going to be the same about everything in life. And that's okay. It is okay if your wishes are different. Are you open and receptive enough to actually step into that space and allow your partner to show you something new? Literally, can your partner show you something new? Let me know down in the comment section below by saying 2 for yes. Put a 2 down below if it's a yes. Like, can your partner show you something new? Or are you somebody that's more like tense, or you don't want to open up to nothing new? You shy away from all of these new things, new experiences. Like, this is what builds beautiful memories. This is what builds beautiful memories, is being able to be spontaneous or just learning something new, putting yourself in a new situation and being open enough to have fun, whether you really would ever do this thing again or not. Being able to be present in the moment to show up and say, this was good because I did it with you as my partner. I did it with you as my spouse. That doesn't mean you have to go back and do it 25 million times again if it didn't sit well with you. But being present in the moment and not having an attitude and just going along with the flow for the moment is a beautiful thing. Not if it's detrimental. Absolutely. Of course. Of course. If it's detrimental, that's not something that I'm even speaking about ever. If you guys should be on one accord, at least in some areas. But I'm never speaking about anything that's going to put you in a harmful situation, especially your beliefs, your core beliefs, any of that stuff. That is totally not what I'm speaking about. If it's detrimental, absolutely not. Because you have to protect you, right? You have to protect you. You have to be the overseer of yourself as well as the overseer of your children to make sure that you can protect them as much as possible. Now, point number 4 is to show the love the way that they actually need it. A lot of people get this one wrong. And before I realized that there was anything talking about some 5 love languages, I got this wrong myself. Because I was showing my husband love the way that I wanted to receive it. And that's what many of us do. We show up and we actually start showing love the way that we want to receive it. So in my instance, I am a touchy-feely person. My husband is not so touchy-feely like me. So me, I'm definitely a personal touch person. He's not. So for me, I was showing love to him in the way that I needed it, or needed, I should say, because I still want it and need it, which is touching. Well, that's not his thing, right? So I had to figure out why he was kind of shying away from the touch. And it really boils down to having those intimate, tough conversations, because we automatically think that everybody thinks like us. And that's just not true. And especially when it comes to our romantic relationships, we have these expectations that we put on our spouses when we never had the conversation. We've never opened up the door to say, hey, babe, do you actually like X, Y, and Z? So in my case, before we had the conversation, I never thought to have the conversation about touch because I automatically thought that everybody likes to be touched. Well, it's actually not true. It's actually not true. And so I have to check my ego as well. Just like you are going to have to check your ego and your pride and be able to learn and understand your spouse. Learn and understand your partner. Because it's not always about you. And if you're trying to build a partnership, if you guys are trying to be a team, then you must show up and show him or show her the type of love and the way that they need it. And so once I got over my pride and ego and was able to say, okay, he's not the touchy-feely person. Well, in what way can I actually show him that I love him, that I adore him, that I'm happy to be around him and with him? And so then we kind of came to the agreement that we both like quality time together. And there's other things that kind of go into this. I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on the 5 love languages, but research actually shows that the top 3, if you know what your top 3 are and your partner or spouse knows what his or her top 3 are, and you guys actually share them with each other, because it's all about communication, and then you both start showing the other one, or each other, I should say, their top 3 love languages. So it might be quality time, right? So you want to spend some quality time. For me, it's personal touch, right? So we want to touch some more. And then gifts, right? I like gifts too. They're not at the top, but they're not at the bottom. So I like gifts too. So if my husband starts to show up and give me those 3, we will have a beautiful marriage. But here's the thing. I have to turn around and actually give him his top 3 as well, so he can feel the exact same way. And if you do that yourself, and if your spouse does that his or herself, you guys will have a really good relationship. Is it going to be perfect? No, it's not. It's not. But you will show up in a different manner, especially if you are lacking these things right now. You will see a 360, or at the very least 180 turn of events in the way that you're showing up, as well as the way that your spouse is showing up, and how much more fun you two are having with one another. Let me know if that makes sense. So I just want to welcome in Derek. I see you, Charles, Porsche, Demetria, Farina, Jackie, Sarah, Mikhail, Sandra, and then Teresa says exactly. Right. Thank you. Yes, ma'am. Like, it really does make a complete difference in the way that you're showing up with everything that you do in your relationship. So that's number 4, is to show love the way that your partner or spouse needs it, not the way that you just want to give it to them or show it to them, because it might not be the exact same love language. And so when you're doing that, it's not resonating. And then also when you're doing that, your spouse also feels like he or she is not being loved by you. And it's really just a miscommunication. It's really a miscommunication. So having these deep, intimate conversations is really going to help you save some time, energy, and effort, as well as frustration. All right. So the 5th and final way to protect your relationship and your marriage is literally to talk about ways to strengthen your marriage. Talk about them. Like, what are some things that you're actually lacking in? The areas that you know that might even come up from time to time in the form of an argument. That's a lack. The argument is coming from some lack that you feel that is in your relationship. So start to break down and have those very uncomfortable conversations, because you will be able to build and strengthen your marriage or your relationship by just talking. By literally, and I'm saying just, but okay, let me finish my statement. Being vulnerable. I was going to say by just being vulnerable, but I know sometimes being vulnerable is something that people really, really hold on to, and they're actually not realizing that they're struggling in your relationship because you're not being vulnerable enough. And this is on both sides. Not being vulnerable enough because we feel like, I don't need you, or I'm protecting my heart because it's been broken before, and I do not want to give you the opportunity to break me down like that again. But you're not realizing that you're actually harming yourself. You're also harming the relationship as well. You're harming it. You are harming it if you're not able to open up and be vulnerable with your spouse. I encourage you to be vulnerable. I encourage you to step out of your comfort zone and actually say, hey, this is me and all of me. This is me and all of me. And I have to have this conversation with you today because it is bothering me. It has nothing to do with you personally. It's about the way that this thing is making me feel. And then have the conversation, not a blaming conversation, because that goes nowhere. Not a conversation where you guys are cussing, fussing, and screaming at the top of your lungs because nobody's listening. Be able to speak in a respectful tone, in a respectful manner, and get your point across. And you will literally see your relationship and your marriage turn around. But it all starts with you. I said this several times here, and I'm going to say it again. The change that you seek is within you. It starts with you. The change that you seek starts with you. That vulnerability that you want to see from your spouse, well, you have to show up and be vulnerable first. You do. It all starts with you. Everything starts with you. And if you're believing in your higher power, and I call my higher power God or Jesus, then say your prayer. Ask God to literally protect and speak the words through you, because you don't know how they're going to come out, but you want them to come out in a way that you're heard and there's no argument. So pray over your tongue before you even go and have the conversation. And best believe when I say I pray over my tongue a whole lot, because sometimes the way that I want to deliver the message is not in a godly manner, right? And God ain't through with me yet. God is not through with me yet. And I'm sure God is not through with you yet either. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up. I am Marshauno, your favorite life and relationship strategist, and I help Christian women that are married or in long-term relationships to stop feeling disconnected and unloved and shift you to feeling heard, understood, and appreciated. And I also want to thank Ronnie and Lamar Tyler for allowing me to come to speak to Black and Married with Kids. And here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. So I opened up and I have a free coaching conversation, especially with the times that we are in, for the first 4 people, because someone already signed up who was listening to me speak, and I had 5 slots. So now I have 4 slots available for the first 5 people. I'm gonna say 5 people that actually need a coaching conversation, that are ready to shed some of that dead weight that is not helping them, that is not serving their relationship. Go ahead and sign up for the free coaching conversation. It literally is for 30 minutes. I'm going to help you take a deep dive into one area that you know could literally change the trajectory of the way your relationship is headed in. If that sounds like something that you could benefit from, then absolutely go ahead and sign up. And I look forward to speaking with you and helping you out in any way that I can, because my mission, please, my mission is to decrease the divorce rate while simultaneously increasing the marriage rate, one conversation at a time. So I'm looking to help. I'm looking out for anybody that needs help. This is a free coaching conversation. I know sometimes people ask me that. It is a free 30-minute coaching conversation. So if this is something that you feel that you can benefit from, then go ahead. The link is up above. And once I reach my capacity of 5, I will be taking the link down. All right. So with that being said, I love you guys. There is nothing that you can do about it. And I will see you next week on the 21st. All right. Bye now.